So for this final guide to learning, I wanted to talk about the group assignment and then look at the chapter together. The chapter you are reading, chapter 6, I'm going to break that down. Just to briefly talk about that now, I've largely broken down the chapter already within the lesson builder. So a lot of the information that I want you to know from the chapter has already been covered in your readings in the lesson builder. It's really the chapter that's complementing the lesson builder and not vice versa. So I think that should be helpful to you. So this final group assignment, this is your group, right? The same group you've been part of for the discussions on physical therapy practice and also healthcare professions that you finished in week 8 and did your replies early week 9. So this is only worth 5 points. So this is a very low stakes assignment. I intentionally made it low stakes, so if for some reason a group doesn't quite get it done or things kind of fall apart, that it's not a heavy hit on your grade. It won't be, but it is important that you get it done. It is important because it is part of a group grade or forum grade for the term. So I don't want to minimize it at all. People do it well as groups, and I really tried to make it not too difficult. So the big part is that everybody needs to participate, that this isn't something that, you have 2 leaders that are just going to just steamroll it, and which actually is not good leadership, to be honest, if you just steamroll your group and say you're going to get it done and then tell me that everybody participated when everybody really didn't. That's certainly not helpful to anybody. So the point is that I'm getting at is that this is a group project, and in the groups, same groups you've been working in, not new groups. So you know your group assignments. So what is the goal? The goal is to help you learn key concepts of Chapter 6 in a group to help you do better on your exam, but most importantly, to learn some of these concepts as you go out into the workplace. PTAs do become managers of businesses, and one of the ways that you become a manager of business is knowing how you get paid, and knowing how you get paid well and making sure that you get paid in every opportunity, and versus unpaid, which can cost business a lot of money. So that is the goal, and for you to work together. So one person from each group will submit this assignment in Moodle. And where does this live? The actual assignment lives in the final week. Or excuse me, not the final week of, not finals week. Let's make sure I'm using the correct language here. It's actually week 10, and this would be called your 5-point group project. So one person from your group is going to submit a product. In other words, answer the questions and submit as an online assignment, just like you've done with other online assignments, like your career track paper, for example. You're given a set of criteria. This is what you need to do, and you're going to type that out and submit it here. Not on a Word document, but actually type it out or copy and paste from a Word document is fine. Or if you want to do a Google link and just submit a link to a Google Doc that's live and that I can edit and comment on, that's fine. But just make sure I can edit it. What's happened in the past, and I have done this myself, is that these Google Docs are provided as links and I can't edit it. I mean, I can look at it and then I'm like, well, how can I grade this thing without printing it and costing paper and making it somewhat of a more work than it really should be. So if you don't know how to share a Google Doc, then just type it in. And that's just one person in your group, so I'm not expecting 26 assignments. In fact, I only want 5 submissions. So that's one person from each group. That's really important. Otherwise, you're not following directions. So, and then what's going to happen also is that you're going to share with the class by submitting in the Can You Help Me forum your same submission. So your class, in the class of 2021 Can You Help Me forum, is going to go ahead and add a new discussion topic and simply say, this is group 1, just call it group 1, week 10 project. That's fine. And just so we know what group you're in, and one person, just go ahead and does a copy and paste, or, as I said, you can do a Google Doc. I think I'd rather here. You can go either way. The problem I have with Google Docs is not everyone can access them, I suppose, but if that's the best you can do, then, or that's what you want to do as a group, that's fine. I prefer a copy and paste, though, so you've heard my preference. Then you just post it to the class. That way, as you're learning this material, you could go ahead and see what other people have done. So whenever you see information presented correctly in different formats, it improves your learning. And you can be creative and add pictures, but that's not what you're graded on, is creativity. But it's a good chance for you to practice your teaching skills too. So here it is, right? It's all laid out here. There's no self-grade. I'll be giving you 5 points. And so for group 1, you need to define and make an example of these 5 definitions. Group 2, here's your definitions. 3, 4, and 5. And this will help you, learn the chapter. And so finally, I'm just going to show you what the chapter looks like, which you all have a copy of in your book, or you have the same thing I'm looking at here, which is the web, or the book copy via Elsevier, the online copy, as you would say. So you have the objectives to start out front, and some key terms. You don't have to know all the terms, so I would kind of cross reference, for example, some of the terms I'm asking you to learn and some of the things that I've called out early on in terms of the objectives, like this area here and all this. That's what's going to help you. And sure, the chapter is not going to go into the Oregon Health Plan, but this lesson builder covers the Oregon Health Plan. Okay, so don't feel like you have to memorize all these definitions, because that's just not it's not a good use of your time, in terms of, especially as you get here into finals week. But I think the author does a really good job of kind of breaking down a fairly complex issue regarding healthcare financing into more digestible terms, such as defining what HME or DME is. Some of these things you probably know, but I don't know what you know. But you can see that, I think it's important to kind of know how physical therapy and healthcare is paid for, and then knowing the different parts of Medicare. But again, you want to cross-reference and go back to the lesson builders, so you're not learning a lot of things that you really don't have to know. So I hope I've made that really clear. So I may not have said everything in the objectives here you have to know, but if you go back and look at the final page, second to final page I should say, again, we're kind of asking you, you need to know this, right? And if I'm calling this out and asking your group to define it and post it for the class to see, you should conclude that that's pretty important. And that includes like definition of what CHIP is. These are acronyms, and I'm putting them out there for you to do the work and to define to your class, what it is. I've covered a lot of these terms already in the lesson builder, but this is a way again for you to relearn it, and relearn it by actively participating in the learning. All right, you have questions, let me know. I think you really should have a lead person in each group. I think that's important. Somebody to kind of get you organized, and then, for example, someone who's a timekeeper to make sure things get done. But those are just suggestions.